Hello everybody, Tom Matuska and Brett Wingfield here for the Matuska Taxidermy Studio Thursday Live. And we've been on a little vacation for a while. We had to graduate some taxidermy students, and we finished a lot of projects, and that occupied our Thursday afternoons for the last 3 weeks. So they finished their projects and took home some really, really nice things. And I have to say, out of doing this for
a while,
a long, long while, we had some extremely talented people from all across the nation, and turned out some really nice projects. And we had bobcats, and we had coyotes, and we had fox, and we had a big variety of fish, and some beautiful bird work, and
elk and
yes. And some of these people are often running. Had I been, anytime we instruct somebody and I see how good their first projects are, I think where I would be now if I was that good when I started. You know, it took me 70 years to get where I am now, and these people are doing a good job.
They are.
They have some promising careers ahead of them, and it's really fun to follow them. And they keep in touch on Facebook and different little groups and chat rooms, and I'm anxious to see where they go from here.
I think there's a few of them that are going to be very, very easy to keep track of.
Yeah.
The social media, they seem to be easy to follow.
And before we took our little break, we spent maybe about 3 or 4 sessions on pack mounts.
Yep.
And pack mounts are the rave right now. I mean, everybody's asking, customers are asking for pack mounts, and a lot of times it's maybe a deer that's not a big trophy buck that they want to put on the wall, or maybe they have one of everything, or for whatever reason, pack mounts are in.
Yeah.
And so Mandy has put together pack mount kits, I think, and she'll probably tell you about them later, but you get, we have a variety of pack mounts. We have some fancy pack mounts all the way down to basic pack mounts, and we'll show you some of those. But we've got, you can dress them up with canteens and lanterns and bedrolls and the remainder of the hide, and your
all kinds of memorabilia.
This is a pretty one. It's a little, if I had a pack like this, I probably wouldn't take it out in the woods. But this makes a beautiful pack mount, and it's adorned with real pretty brass strips with some little brass tacks. It's got beautiful fall leather backing. This one has a little reinforcement in the back that you can fasten your heads to. And I think the only thing that's going to limit what your pack mount looks like is your imagination.
Yeah.
And there's it's really interesting to see all the comments like, well, is it natural to put the ears up, or should I have the eyes closed, or when they're dead, the eyes aren't really closed, and there's a whole can of worms you can open up. And we addressed a few of those in the mount that we did, and I think you did a really, really nice job. The ears looked tastefully deceased, tastefully deceased, and the eyes looked exceptional. I thought it looked really, really nice. But and we did a little offset on it just to be different. But the head forms come cut off square at the back, but you can put them on here any way you want. Just cut that neck material, and you can add the hide or any of the different.
We're starting to see them in bears.
Yeah, bears.
Change out bear heads, make a really nice pack. All kinds of different critters.
You just wait.
Deer.
The dinosaur's coming.
That'll
My
be
big
fun
old Stegosaurus is going to be on here.
I'll take a bigger
Thank
pack.
you. But that's what's that one called? Deluxe?
That's a
Supreme.
Supreme. Wow.
It's a nice one. It's pretty. Makes a beautiful, maybe a little not natural, but a beautiful pack mount.
Would an elk Euro mount fit on that pack?
I think the elk that I shoot would fit on that perfectly. It'd be a little squeaky, we called the first elk that I shot. No, I think that'd be a little on the small side.
It would be on the, it would
I
be
mean, it
just
would make a
tiny bit
Euro
small,
mount,
but
maybe you could put a
make
Euro mount on it,
you
or
could-
or
yeah,
something
I
like
think
that.
you could do some fun things with it too.
Birdman's asking how long our live is. We are back to our normal 4 to 5. Live to 5.
Live to 5?
Live till 5.
Well, that's good. But look back at the pack mounts, because I've had people say to me, other taxidermists, I'll never do one of them. They just are dumb. Who would ever do that? Well, we have people asking all the time, and from the amount of them that we're selling, we know how popular they are. So
Yeah.
put one in your showroom, put one together for your showroom, and you don't need, I mean, it might be a cape that's not a show
Yeah.
cape, something that you just have that's a second or something like that,
Yep.
maybe as a replacement. And you can put together a really nice one that'll make your customer say, oh, I never thought of that, I kind of like
I
it.
think so, yeah.
Or bears, or whatever you happen to want to put in. But look back, it's kind of fun. It was fun doing it, and we mounted the deer, and it looks really nice. I said we would finish it, but we just haven't added the bedroll and rolling up the hide.
We
and
got to
things
go
like
on
that.
a little scavenger hunt for
We
memorabilia.
went to an antique store when we were in La Crosse, and they had the old Army canteens, and they had old axes and old knives and old lanterns, and just fun stuff
perfect.
that
Yeah.
you could add $500 worth of antiques to your pack mount if you wanted to.
You know, another fun way to do that is to ask your customer to bring some of those that might be sentimental
Oh,
to
that's
them.
a good idea.
You know, they could bring in some little pieces
Yep.
and parts that
Grandpa's old
meant
axe.
something
or-
to Grandpa.
Sure.
Or, yeah.
Sure.
So lots of
Very
creative
fun,
ways to
very
do
fun.
that.
So today, you ready for today? Today we're going to show you working with artificial habitat, well, real habitat and artificial habitat. We have a lot of projects that we have going that we use driftwood.
Subject, but Eugene is wondering what form that deer is on behind you in the background.
Interesting enough, that is a competitor's choice. I don't know, it's a semi-upright, probably a 180 something, isn't it?
Yep.
186
It's,
or 7?
That sounds right. Yep. It's a 21
And
by 24.
competitor's choice, interesting enough, was sculpted by Mike Yeska, Pat Wagner, Brian Olson, 30-some years ago. And when they did it, they did an extremely accurate job of the whole line. And we've had that in production forever. All of them. I mean, it takes a taxidermist to make it. A good taxidermist to make any deer head look good, and you did this one. But it's very, very attractive, and like they always say, deer over time, I mean, they may evolve and grow another tail or something like that, but basically, the anatomy on that deer is going to be the same 100 years from now. So even though those deer were sculpted, those mannequins were sculpted 30-some years ago, they're still as accurate as they were.
They are.
You know, when they did them.
They make a really nice deer. Especially, that was our demo deer for class.
Yes,
And
yes,
if a
yes,
deer
yes,
looks
yes.
good in demo, something has to go very
Nothing goes
right.
right in class.
that's a fun one.
The competitor's choice line comes in it comes in a tall upright offset, I think we call it. It
That
comes
one.
in a wall pedestal.
Yeah.
Comes in a semi-up. It comes in a semi-sneak, and I think they have one sneak. And now some of those sculptors have moved in another direction and started the XP line with what they learned
Yep.
from the
Yep.
competitor's choice line.
So to answer the question, that is a competitor's choice upright.
CC 186-ish?
Semi-upright, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
Semi-upright, 186 or 7, whichever is a left turn.
Left turn.
And I like those because the semi-ups are a very slight turn, and whenever I have a customer come in and say, I want my deer mounted straight, I really try to talk them out of straight because it's too easy. I think it's too easy for a customer to pick out an 1/8 inch difference in the ear angles and one eye if they can square up to them. And so it's easy to say, if you would go right or left, just a little bit makes them look a little more lifelike. And that semi-up position is perfect because it's not a cranked head. It's not cranked off to one side or the other.
Yep.
Good for noticing. I thought when we put it back here, I thought, man, that's a nice looking deer. Very nice. So anyway, back to habitat. We work with all kinds of habitat. We work with quick rock. We work with real wood. We work with rock panels that we make. We work with cedar driftwood. We find things and preserve them, all different kinds. But today, what we're going to show you is how to make do with what you have, and where you don't. I mean, right now it's kind of interesting in the taxidermy industry because one day we can't get foam, the next day we can't get plywood, the next day we can't get scalpel blades. Next day we can't get wire. So Todd Cranow, those of you that don't know Todd Cranow is a master of not wasting things, if I had to say it. But Todd Cranow will use his stir stick to mix up auto body putty. When it hardens, he will use the other end of the stir stick to mix up auto body putty. When it hardens, he'll break the stir stick in half, and he's got 2 more ends to mix up auto body putty. I've seen him in action, and Todd doesn't waste anything. And I think that's what taxidermists are going to have to do because driftwood probably not coming in till May. Wire, like you said, scalpel blades. The computer guy came today to reroute some of our wiring. He said, "You're not going to find a laptop. You can't get a laptop right now."
Wow.
Same as the depth finder.
Oh yeah.
Depth finders.
Yeah.
Same thing. Screens are Chinese. We had it going with them, but it went away. But anyway, for whatever reason, everything is getting, and we never know what it is from day to day to day. It's one thing after another. So it's always a surprise. You come in tomorrow and it might be electricity.
What's on the hard to find list?
Who knows what it'll be. But anyway, so we're going to show you some tricks that we use in the shop to get by with what you have. Don't throw away things that you might possibly use sometime because with a little creativity, you can turn them into some works of art. One of these things is our driftwood. We have a few different varieties of driftwood, and this is our flat back that we would put a hanger on, put it on the wall. We'd have a little bluegill go in one direction or another. Crappie, bluegill, little
that's
fish.
Real driftwood. That's
this is real cedar too. And you brought that up. It's a good time to tell them whenever you're, especially you new people, don't just go out and find something, put a hanger on it, and put it on the wall, because bugs will eat any kind of wood except cedar. They don't like the aromatic smell of cedar. This piece of wood is from Texas, and it's tumbled cedar. If you drill into it, it's going to smell cedary, chesty, and bugs don't like that. So this is always safe to use. If you go out and find a piece of walnut or oak, I have had beautiful hard oak pieces that bugs got when I first started out.
Is there a way, say I do want to use a piece that I found out there really, really bad, is there a way that you can preserve it and use it? Yep, and we use, I think we mentioned it maybe last live, there's a product called malathion, Ortho, the Ortho bug killer company, that if you go to any nursery, they'll have Ortho products, and they make malathion, and it's concentrated. We get it concentrated. The smell of it will clear out your shop. It is that strong. It's terrible, terrible smelling stuff, but you dilute it in water and spray it outside. We put it in a garden sprayer. I used to get all kinds of driftwood and load it up in the boat, dry it all out. Then I'd come and I'd spray it all down with a garden sprayer. That Ortho water mixture will soak into your driftwood and bugs won't touch it for, I don't know how long, but for a long time. And when you smell it, nothing will touch it. It's Aki stuff. But the smell does go away. Just leave it outside till the smell goes away, and that's how we use real wood if we wanted to use real wood.
But this is our flat back that we get. We sell it in small, medium, large, jumbo probably. We also have a variety of posts. These are just same cedar, and it's cut off at just different angles. Now, this would make a perfect perch. We have people call us all the time, and they'll say they want perch branches, something a wood duck can sit on or whatever kind of bird. And so we go out and we hunt and hunt and hunt for these people. And sometimes we spend way too much time trying to find the right piece of driftwood with the right branch that's going to accommodate their little screech owl. But, you know, just to send it to them and they'll say, oh, he's going the wrong direction. So we don't have a problem taking a piece like this, which would not work at all, and taking a piece like this and connecting the two. You know, it works pretty good. So we're going to show you how to do that. And you also have to blend this. You have to make this look like you didn't just screw it onto the board and you got a big gap in there. So we're going to show you how to attach it, how to fill in the gap. Next week we're going to have a whole session on, I think, on dirt and coloring and things like that.
Yeah.
See, we're way ahead of you. You didn't have to ask what we're doing. So to start with, I've kind of pre-drilled this a little bit just to save time and switching bits and all that sort of thing. So this is a different flat back one. And I think I'm going to attach this. I think I had something about like that.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That'd be good?
That'd be really good. We can put a pheasant on that. We can put a wood duck, like you said, just about anything. That's a nice little piece that we can...
Yep, I had it down, didn't I? Okay, so if you hold that for me, I'm going to take a drill, and I'll start my screw through there.
And you've got him pre-drilled on the back?
Yes, but I somehow lost my green bit.
This driftwood is pretty hard, and the cedar wood, it is a good idea to pre-drill pilot holes in the back of it just to...
Now, I may have to swing that to the side.
Yep.
John Allen that says, nice to see you, Tom. I was in the summer class of 1989. I believe the first class in this building.
No, check if I got my hole.
You in the bottom or the top? Bottom.
And what was the last name?
John Allen.
John Allen. 89. I don't think I was even born in 89.
What?
I said, I don't even think I was born in 89.
I think that one's lined up.
Thanks for checking in, and good to hear from you. Okay, one more?
Yeah, I think it's all lined up for you.
Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. If I wasn't trying to do it a little bit rapidly for live, I probably would have taken a spoonful, a dollop of auto body putty catalyzed, put it on there, held that right up there tight. As soon as it gelled, I would trim the excess off, and now this is already stuck to that. At that point, I would probably come in, drill my holes, probably only one hole, and screw it in, and then I already have the void fixed right there. But right now, I just turned, I don't want to say worthless because you could use it on something, but something that I really don't have any use for, I just turned it into something that any wood duck would look nice on, or mink coming down, or a squirrel, or any kind of a woodland creature or bird. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I've got a void all the way around this whole driftwood. And we call it driftwood. It's just weathered wood. You could call it weathered wood. It never drifted anywhere in its life, so it's not really driftwood. But I need to fill that gap. Now, you can take epoxy sculpt and you can mix up one of the epoxies, magic sculpt, epoxy sculpt. You can color it. You can tuck it in there. You can texture it and all kinds of things. we usually don't want to wait for things to dry, so we use auto body putty or bondo, we refer to it. And I'm gonna fill that void. Now, two things I want to do is, I have my auto body putty. Our brand is Bondo Body Filler. Relindor para considericia. The border is open. Anyway, so I've got, I don't know what that means. It probably says, do not mean this, do not use this.
Do not use on camera.
So this is, if you're going to buy auto body putty of whatever kind, whether it's Bondo, get kind of a neutral color. This is just a gray color and it works really good for us. The other thing, when you buy it, most of the time it's going to come with green hardener, which is the catalyst that makes this set up, green hardener, or it's going to come with red hardener or blue hardener.
Yeah.
None of them look very weathered woody to me. So I'm going to take a white hardener, and white hardener and gray does not, I mean, it's going to be a light color, which is easy to color. So I'm going to mix up a little concoction here. I'm going to mix paint into this. I won't mix up a lot, just a small amount here. Now, I'm not putting in the catalyst first. The directions for most of this catalyst is put 1 inch, it's going to come out like toothpaste, put in 1 inch per golf ball size. I've got kind of a melted 3/4 of a golf ball, so I'm going to put in, you put in a little extra, it sets faster. You put in too much, it weakens it. So I want to darken this color. So I'm going to change my light gray to a dark gray, and this is oil paint. This is Winsor Newton oil paint. And I'm going to put some in there. And you'll see it'll color it to a darker shade of gray. I would rather not go blackish. Now I'm going to put a small amount of brown. And you're not going to mix this to the perfect hue that you wanted, but it's going to be a little better than using the white. Easier to color later. And remember, oil paints. Use oil paints. Works well. Now, I have not catalyzed this yet.
So you're just mixing up a base color.
Yes, and when it dries, it's going to dry a little different color than what you see here. Most of the time it'll dry a little darker. We do this with our seams on our rocks. We'll do a lot of the quick rock, or we have plastic rock panels that we use.
We've got some habitat rock.
And we like to, this will never crack like the maches will. Okay, now that's it's not by any means perfect, but it's going to be better than white or light gray.
That'll give us a nice base.
Now I'm going to take my white catalyst, my white, they call it cream hardener. I'm going to put a little cream hardener in here, and I'm going to mix it slightly on the weak side. I didn't put in as much as I could have. And I'm going to stir it up really good. And if I wasn't doing this for live, I'd be slopping it on there real fast and making a mess and calling it good. But I'm going to do a smaller amount. Now that I have this mixed up, the oil paint will slow it down a little bit. But now that I have this mixed up, I probably have, I don't know, less than 5 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And you can put in less catalyst. So here's my mixture. And you could probably zoom right in on this. Now, it's not a bad idea to mix up extra and have it set aside, like not catalyze all of it. And you'll be way safer because you'll have the same color to do some more.
That's going to make a nice blend. You're not going to have a lot of coloring to do.
I'm pretty close, wasn't I?
Yeah. Huh.
Stuff on live doesn't usually go this easy.
I know. The branch is going to fall off now.
I know. Okay, now I want to texture this, so I want to watch my set time. I don't want to have this start setting on me too soon. And I'm probably going to run out of time here. When it starts gelling, quickly start texturing, and I'll explain that to you in a minute here. Okay, I'll quit now. Now to texture it, I'm going to take a lacquer thinner, plain old lacquer thinner, out of a can, and we call these little wood junk brushes. I think their proper term is chip brush.
We don't sell junk.
No, we don't sell junk, but we have something called a junk. I call it junk brushes. But they're throwaways. We'll get a couple uses out of it, but after that, they're goners.
I think Kate has a question for us.
Yes, sir. Ma'am.
Okay, we've got Tara Hubner, who is wondering why oil paint is better than acrylics.
What do you think? I haven't had much luck mixing acrylic into Bondo. I know that lacquer paints in Bondo weaken the Bondo.
Yeah.
You might try acrylics.
The water I've used it, and I've not had the best luck with acrylics or water paints.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to mix quite as well the few times that I've tried it.
Okay, we're hardening up already. Now to texture this, I'm just poking my brush. Now it's hardening down here, so I can poke pretty hard. And I feathered it out onto both pieces, and then I just take my brush and add a little bit of texture.
Yeah. You can kind of follow grain patterns and spend as much time as you want to with it. The longer you leave, the longer it is before it kicks, the more opportunity for your texture to settle out. So they'll have to kind of practice.
And sometimes we will mix polyester resin with that, and it's really good. It spreads it a long ways. It's really nice to feather it out, but it also will settle out, like you said. You'll get a beautiful texture and think, wow, that's nice. You turn it around, and it just kind of fused right back. So anyway, this is what I would have. This is pretty pleasing to me right now. Now, once this dries, the auto body putty is going to change a little color, probably get darker. The lacquer thinner soaked into the wood, so that I have darkness up in there. So this is all going to change on you as things evaporate and dries. Next, we would probably, depending on the need, come in and paint that.
Yeah.
And this should match that. Now you can take, I didn't do it. Do you have a knife of any kind? Or I can use this thing
There you
too.
go.
You can put little wood striations in here. Match the texture. Now if we were doing bark, we would actually make a texture pad off of some of this good bark to texture what we just did. And that's another day we'll do a little how-to on that.
I hear you say a lot in class, teaching students color, texture color.
I don't know if I made it up or I don't think I did. But that's all taxidermy is texture and color, texture and color. And sometimes the texture is the easy part and the color is the hard part, and sometimes the texture is the hard part. Like fish scales or things like that. You can, if you can retexture a smooth side of a fish into scales like some of those carvers do, you got it made. But yep, you're right, texture and color. Okay, but that's how we would attach those. And I mean, that's never coming off. You could stand on that and it's gonna stay nice and sturdy. Now we can put our balancing raccoon on one leg on there, or we could put, like I said, a mink or any kind of animal you'd want. And you can get bigger and bigger. You can get a jumbo piece of wood, and you can get a jumbo branch, and you can put a turkey on it. I mean, you can do all kinds of things. Bobcats, there's no limit. But with this, I was out of business. With this, I was out of business. But this and this, you know, it's way easier than you think.
Yep, easy to do and makes those two pieces very functional for us.
Now, let's do another one here. Somewhere, where's that big old guy?
Under your chair.
With driftwood being in, and weathered wood, cedar being in short supply, we got into the making what we thought was some pretty nice artificial wood pieces, and this is one that we've used quite a bit. We have several, and this is made out of a 10-pound density foam. This foam is, you can drive over it. Want to bake a steak dinner? But it's really strong. Most of the branches have big wood running throughout them. I think I had this guy going like that. They have wood running in them for reinforcement, but this is really, really strong. And you can use it for, we use this for fish all the time. You can add it to, you can add pieces together, screw them together, blend them just like we did the real wood piece. There's no end to these. And if we find a really, really pleasing piece, we like to make a mold of it. And, you know, people like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like when we go for driftwood, when I go down and look in the bins for driftwood, we got great big bins, and I might go down and look for one for a largemouth bass, for instance, and it's I might look for 20 minutes for one fish.
Oh gosh, I hated going down there to look for driftwood for years. It was.
But now with these, we have our favorite pieces, and we know exactly what we want to take off the shelf. Let's put one of these on quick. Here's another example. We have this piece, and it's just, it can be used so many different directions. It can be used like this, and you could have a bird sitting up here on a nice walnut or oak base.
I think
And that's a new one, so that's not in your catalog, but it is online.
It's a good one.
We saw a couple students in class use that for fish mounts that were on the table, just like you had it posed up there. And that worked really nice.
Could you, if I hold that, can you put this in? Might need one more.
So if we needed one, that was, if we needed a...
And I'd do the same thing, not to interrupt you. I'd do the same thing on this, probably take auto body putty and fasten it on there like that. But if you scratch this up, that's what I was going to say, so your auto body putty sticks.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, and I played with this a lot to decide where I wanted it, but now I don't remember where that was.
Well, I don't even see a hole back here.
Oh, there's not. You just go right there.
Right there?
Sure.
How about that?
Sure, now stick one right about over here. Now, with doing the same exact thing that we did with the real wood, ooh, that wood's drying up real, matches pretty good on it.
That's going to make a good match.
Doing the same thing, now this is more of a gray wood, not so much red, rust color, so we do just maybe black and white. Do the same thing around the whole perimeter, and man, that would hold a coon or, you know, a large perch
just
bird,
about anything.
or, you know, whatever you'd want to use it for.
It would make a great piece for some flying birds too. You could bring a flyer
Show
off
them
the side.
that big old thing.
This one?
Yeah.
This is another piece that we use for. We sell it as our turkey
Do you sell
roost.
it separate? We should sell it separate.
We talked about that, and I think it would be a really good idea. It seems like you're always looking for a piece of wood to match perfectly up to whatever your pieces are, whatever your mounts are. But this is a turkey roost that goes something like this onto a pre-made piece.
Yep, bark slab, real pretty bark slab.
But in looking at it, this piece you could use many different ways. We talked about, I think that would make a pretty nice little pedestal for a
You
deer.
mentioned a pedestal, a deer for a pedestal, yeah.
Eagle on top. Deer pedestal, I think you could match that up to your bobcat pretty nicely. Lots of different things you can do with that. And just like we said, if you found that a couple feet work for it, but one doesn't, you could always add another branch to it. You could change the angle. Yep, we could put this on, wouldn't have to put it on a wood base, we could put it on a rock base, we could do just about anything. So this branch is pretty nice, pretty easy, and it's reinforced all the way through.
Should be reinforced all the way through.
So it will hold some support. So you could use that, you know, we could do something like this off of it if we needed something really big, a big display for sitting ducks and maybe some flying birds.
Looks Halloween-y.
It kind of does. It kind of does. We could do a fall decorating.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of
I
fun.
always wanted to do that. I think we should this year, is our holiday decorations. Take this with some pretty chrome candelabras. What do they call those things?
Sure.
With, you know,
Little candles and, yep.
you guys get creative and you'll win something. Okay, moving on. Let's show your bobcat here.
Yeah, again, and this base is one of the pre-manufactured bases that we've put together. But we were looking for something just a little bit different to go with this cat, and we turned the base over. We flipped it over and found that his feet looked pretty close, but he was actually just, we have 1 foot that,
Feet in space.
yeah, it's just hanging there. So we had to do some little alterations, some cutting to the rocks to get his feet, but we thought this looked nice here. The form, we didn't have to do a lot of alterations to the form, so we got it set up there, and then we've got the added rock clusters, which you can put kind of in here. You could build this base out to about anything you wanted to. We found a nice little foot pad for him here and already kind of pre-drilled that. You would, you might bend your rods over as you kind of imagine where some of these pieces might go, but we've already got it pre-drilled for you. And that would go right up there, something like that. And all of a sudden now you've got a completely different base than we had earlier.
And then how would you attach that?
I think I would do it just like you did your driftwood. We would screw it in from the back. These are made from the same dense foam that we make the
Heavy
branches. And so you can attach them with screws. We can do that back here. And then you would just bondo in between like you did with your driftwood. I think this one comes right up here. Like that.
Oh, that got sturdy already.
Gives a nice sturdy attachment, gives him a nice little foot to rest on, a little place for his feet. You could easily add to this base if you wanted to, another branch. if you had something else to come with it, we could bring this out for interest. Just kind of some fun stuff in changing this. Now, the same way you did the two pieces of wood, if we needed this to match up to his feet, we talked about actually cutting this branch and giving it a little turn if we needed to. We didn't have to because our form met it pretty nice, but you could easily alter any of those. We did have to take a little chunk off of the rock back here to accommodate his foot, and we would just texture over that just like you did with the bondo. Should we do that for him?
And like every week, we kind of talk a little bit about pricing because taxidermist slash businessman is an oxymoron. I always say that. There is not such a thing. Taxidermists tend to be a little more on the artistic side and less on the business side, but do pay attention to what you're putting into this. I don't know what these are, but they're probably 15, 16 bucks. You know, they're you're adding that. You have a reasonably, not inexpensive base there. If you're adding that big branch, keep track of all that thing, all those things that you're putting in, and make sure that your customer is paying for that because you don't want to give your work away.
Right. And that's, the other end of that is we don't have, time-wise, we don't have a whole bunch of labor in putting these pieces and parts together, so that makes it kind of nice. You can use this base in 2 or 3 different ways and make that work for your mounts in different forms so that you don't have to spend time in building them. So it's kind of nice if you had one of these on hand rather than, gosh, how long would it take us to build this base?
Oh, it'd take.
And
if we carved it, we do that a lot. We'll carve these rocks
with
out of foam.
Out of foam that's hard to find.
And then we go out and find a branch, and we might take a walk in the woods for 3 hours to find the right branch.
And then we've got a $100 piece of plywood in the back.
Now we do.
That's hard to come by.
I just saw Home Depot was $95 a sheet of plywood.
Yeah, for a 3/4 inch piece.
Incidentally, keep an eye on your deer forms because foam's going up. Our foam went up 40 cents a pound in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. Well, on the foam note too, I know you guys are noticing that we took our gallons and quarts out of stock, and we did that because we have to keep your mannequins and driftwood and bird bodies in production. So when we get our first batch of foam, our next batch, we were ahead of the game, so we have a lot of stock still, but when we get our next batch in, we'll open it up to you guys to order your quarts and gallons. But again, don't hoard it like toilet paper.
We're gonna, but not you.
Yeah.
We'll do that every time, but we're just afraid that everyone's gonna hoard it, and that's the issue right now. So we're saving it for our forms. We're still behind right now on form products. We're 3 days behind. And bird.
Yeah, how'd you get it down to 3?
No kidding.
We have staff working
2 shifts.
nights, early in the mornings, weekends. We have awesome team in our production, manufacturing, working for you guys to get them out. So we went from 2 weeks behind, we are now to 3 days behind. Bird bodies are about 3 days as well, but everything else, if you don't have our manufactured products on, you're going out the same day, if not the next day. And we're hoping to just keep building until we get your normal out in 24 hours.
And also, we apologize at the stuff we just can't get. Our catalog is loaded with stuff, and out of all the things we have, things get held up in customs. Plastic parts get held up in customs. Some of our grasses, they'll allow the short grass in, but they won't allow the long grass in. What's the difference?
On the note of catalogs, we are out of our 2021 catalogs. We have one shipment coming in, they're all spoken for. Once those are gone, we have a couple for the World Show, and that's it. So if you need a catalog, our online flip book is available.
Beautiful online flip book.
And it works great. It takes you right to the products online. Everything's clickable for you, so that's really nice.
And it's fast. Yeah. It's fast to go through.
Loads
Access
fast,
is easy. Yep. And everything on the app as well.
Yep. Everything on our app. We got the app as well. I feel like there's there's lots to talk about. Ooh, scalpel blades, we got 20 and 22 have been really hard to get. We found a new vendor. Those are in stock and ready. So for those of you that want 20 and 22 blades, those are now back available. We have new noose hangers. Our noose hangers are, you've seen those from other vendors. Those are in stock. And that breaks apart so you can use it as two, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, there's two hangers there
Two
in
hangers
that
in
one.
one.
Those are a nice solid hanger.
These are.
Those have been around for years, and
They look like so.
So this is our new storage box.
I don't know if they can quite see that.
Haven't you?
We
Or
might
they
have to
can't?
bring. I don't think they can. Kate, you might have to.
There you
have
go.
to show
now,
them. There you
now
go.
you can.
This is a pretty neat little storage container.
Use it for tools, use it for whatever you want.
Markers, paintbrushes, all that stuff. And it folds up for easy, just like that. There you go.
Oh, that's a pretty nice little set.
It is nice, and it would be very nice on the back of the workbench, just low profile, small footprint, slide it against the back and put all of your upgrade tools in it, your brushes, your sculpture tools.
$39.95 for that one.
And has the lid if you need to grab it, and you guys get ready for the World Show or for the Nationals or one of your state shows, and have to have a little repair kit to go along with you.
Father's Day's coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Teresa says she loves the new foam. She just got her deer forms and loves the new foam.
Oh.
We might be going back and forth between foams.
Yes,
We'll
we
take
are.
what we can get.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Let's see, you have...
California show is coming up here in Wyoming, May 6th and 8th, and then May 13 and 16 is Indiana and Louisiana. And Indiana and Louisiana also have the Professional Masters Competitors Awards, so go for that.
That's pretty fun. Seeing these shows get back online and people getting back together and sharing ideas is pretty exciting.
And we have our
Back to
booths picked
normal.
out for the World Show.
That's
the end of August.
exciting. That's really exciting.
So
same
expect
as
a nice
before?
show. Yep, same as before, so expect a nice
If you've
show.
not been to the World Show and not seen the Matuska Taxidermy Supply Company presentation, it is a sight to behold. I mean, it is a seminar corridor, the entire
It's
thing.
fun.
It's the place to be. We have a lot of fun.
We do. Couple things back in stock for you guys. Createx paints are back in stock, so your fish and your game head kit are back in stock. The branch with moss that everybody goes crazy about, that is back in stock, along with the epoxy sculpt. Your blades, we've gotten quite a few batches of pear eyes in. We're still receiving them in, so just kind of call and check on your eyes if you're somebody that was looking for them. Carrie Cochran's ear liners, our 209.45 Ps are back in stock. LT paints, I'm pretty sure we just got a huge shipment in, and we have more coming that are going to fill all of our out of stock ones for you guys. So kind of every day's different. We're getting new stuff back in.
That's good news.
And next week, we will have this space ready as far as all the attachments done, any of the adornment, and I think we'll probably show them a little bit of dirt work, a little bit of how to attach ground cover, like I call ground cover like dirt and gravel and mosses and things like that.
We've got a couple little spots we'll texture with bondo, just like we did the driftwood. We might show them that too. We might.
And might even give you a little glimpse of some snow ideas.
And paint.
And paint.
How to color these, make them unique. We give you a really nice start to it, but if you had two of these bases on the wall next to each other and wanted to make some diversity between the two, we'll show you how to add some color to them and brighten them up.
We have some pretty talented girls
Painters.
in the painting
absolutely.
department.
Telling people everywhere.
Oh, look
Ooh,
at
more
those.
new
Break
cool
one
stuff.
of my noose hangers.
Oh, I did, because you said it was two, so I wanted to show them how it was two.
One becomes two.
And these are very, very strong. Mandy doesn't even know this, how strong they are. Should you want stronger, these are very easily doubled up
Oh,
for twice
There you
the
go.
holding power.
so
Don't
if you're
be afraid,
putting,
if you got an elk or something like that, don't be afraid to put 2 with 4 good screws in there, and it's gonna hold very
Yeah.
nicely to the wall.
your wall might not
And yes, I did,
stand up to it.
It's all yours.
but I can glue it.
It's all yours. You can use it.
Nobody will
We
know.
got a welder downstairs.
I'm a soldering machine. Let's look at these. Can we show them these?
Yep.
These
This
are
is
fun.
new in.
Fleshing sticks.
So we have new fleshing dowels. We have a small, medium, large, and extra large, and then a
Show this.
kit as well. They're two-sided, which is really nice. And Brett's been using them quite a bit.
Yeah, these work really well for eyes, ears, nostrils. Anybody that's spent much time doing prep work is going to really appreciate these. We have different diameters and sizes. They come in, you've got them in individuals and the set?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Zoom in on that.
4 sizes and the set.
Yeah.
Now available online. You got
Look
your
at that. Look at
Pearlex.
Oh, look at that.
Oh. You got your Pearlex color you've been wanting back
Yes, we need to show them that. It's a secret. We shouldn't tell anybody, but we got it. For a very long time, green gold or green, the duo yellow green was out of commission. Couldn't get it, and we had just a little stock of it that we've managed to stretch the last several years, and just happened to find it available to us now again, and we have some new colors. So
in. And that is the PEX 682 green yellow. What is
Yeah.
your go-to fish for that one? Or all of
All
them?
of them.
All of them.
all of them.
That's your
Honest.
go-to color.
I love that color. That's something that I wouldn't want to do fish work if we didn't have that. And for a long time, I hoarded it because I didn't want to ever run out. But we've recently found it again available.
And then we also have the Duo Aqua and Blue, new, and then the Shimmer Violet. So all 3 of those colors.
So I can't wait to see a couple of those new colors on there too.
What's your giveaway today? You don't know? That's
We
exciting.
do. Yes, we do.
Oh, what
yes,
is it?
we even have this week's and next week's giveaway.
We are doing the new artificial driftwood perch.
Don't you know those are on back order?
That one, I
Okay.
believe it's that little.
The new one, the 15800.
Yeah.
Yes, and the winner goes to Tammy Cruciati.
Congratulations,
Tammy,
Tammy.
you're gonna love it.
Yep, that one can go on the table, it can go on the wall, it can go as a utility piece to add on to another piece of driftwood, or it works really well on its own.
You know,
That's
the
a
nice
fun
thing
one.
about any of these artificial pieces, just by the color you color the rocks and the adornment you put on them as far as leaves or mosses and the way you tip them,
Oh gosh, yeah.
no customer could ever tell that this was the same piece from this
Yeah.
to that mount.
might be me.
Yeah.
It's really, really fun how you just turn them different directions and they're unrecognizable. as
Yeah,
the same
you've got
piece.
one right here, you could take that
Sure.
same, this is the same piece. You could reorient it over here, change the direction, maybe turn it up,
Sure.
change some color. You'd never know that those are the same two, you could overlap them.
Look at
together.
that. That's like magic.
Was wondering, he has an old European mount that I want to incorporate in a pack mount. Where would I start turning a clean skull into what looks like a freshly caped skull?
With a
clean,
paintbrush and some,
artistic,
yeah, it's going to take an artistic flair to look like it was just caped off.
fresh, yeah. Maybe some oil paints or some Createx paints.
Get a good picture of what you're trying to copy and maybe a little buildup of tissue first.
Yep, a little epoxy buildup on that skull
That's
if you
an
wanted
interesting
to.
one. That would
That could be
take a
kind of
little
fun.
work
Yeah.
and thought.
Tammy's watching and she says thanks. Awesome. So next week, Tune in next week for,
Carry this to one more level. Might have some more ideas. We'll show you more habitat. We call them elements. The rock is, for me, the rock is an element. The wood is an element. The foliage is going to be an element. The ground cover is going to be an element. So the more elements we add to it, we think it adds realism.
Yep, realism and depth, and we'll show them all kinds of fun stuff next week. Color and more on texture.
And this big old stud cat, this is a big bobcat.
That is a big bobcat.
He's going to look nice on his
His
custom
new,
created.
his upside down base.
Yep, upside down base.
so tune in next week and give us a call, 1-800-488-3256, or you can visit us online at www.matuskataxidermy.com.